The ruling party's leader, Mamata Banerjee, is the biggest thief. Perhaps the worst chief minister in India today. She's mentally a little unsound, or she's a little sometimes. She suddenly said that they are staging a coup against me. She locked herself up in her secretariat for 33 hours. Majority of the people voted for the BJP. People were very angry that their votes have been hijacked. There was a women candidate. She had just undergone a cesarean operation. She was repeatedly kicked in the lower abdomen. And the Banerjee is talking about Manipur, talking about women's safety in Manipur. So shameless. And some of their MLAs are most violent. Sokat Mullah and these, they're all part of the Diamond Harbour lobby, which is controlled by Mamata Banerjee's nephew. I visited one village in Shantipur. On the ground, I saw bombs which was still lying, indirectly implying that if you don't vote for us, go to hell. Indian Union Muslim League demanded that Hindus be burnt in front of temples. Only state where every other day bombs are recovered.
Where are they getting from?
Because they are being manufactured. In West Bengal, most of them are involved in this kind of atrocities. There was a huge blast in that village suddenly, and that blast was heard 15 kilometers away. Cracker factory, but a lot of illegal gunpowder bombs were also being manufactured there and distributed. Owner of that factory directly linked to the TMC.
Are they afraid of Mamata Banerjee?
No, they are not afraid because they are appointed by her.
So much violence. What is making them to do all this violence?
If they don't control the vote in any state where the BJP is in power, the BJP doesn't resort to violence. Lovely Maitra is a TMC MLA. She's an actor. On counting
there, even violence has been happening, right?
Yes,
I've seen the video as well.
Exactly. The Muslims, in the name of Allah, to finish them. This is the gesture she did. Khatam korte parbe na, this is the gestures. Entire country was shocked. It shows somewhere that the mind is sick. It is not normal, or that it is getting sick. In India, parties like the Congress, like the TMC, like the CPM, they are actually fanning the fires of instability in Manipur. What has been the Congress's record of governance in Northeast? I want to ask. Let there be a threadbare discussion. Narendra Modi represents the real Bharat, the real India. In Meghalaya, whatever problem is happening, the TMC is behind it.
Namaste and a very warm welcome to the Nationalist Madarasi. This is Intellectual Exchange with me, Sri Dharma Raghavan. Today we have a very special guest from West Bengal, none other than our Anirban Ganguly ji is joining with us. He is the chairman and the trustee of Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Foundation as well. And he is the national executive member of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and he is from West Bengal. Yes, today we are going to talk about the violence which has happened in the West Bengal and the ongoing things which is happening in West Bengal and in India as well. Namaste. Vanakkam, Anirban ji. Thank you for accepting our invitation and coming all the way to our podcast as well. So, Anirban ji, let me ask, what is happening in Bengal? Because none of the media is not covering actually what the the poll violence which has happened, and after that there has been cases which has been registered on both the TMZ and the ruling party. Anirban ji, tell us what is happening in Bengal as well, because there has been violence which is spreading across Bengal on the poll days, especially during this Panchayat polls as well. So what is happening in Bengal? Give us a brief things about what has happened in Bengal, Anirban ji.
Thank you for inviting me here. What is the word in Tamil for thief? Triton. In Bengal, what has happened is the Triton is shouting loudest.
Okay.
Because the Triton wants to cover up its own track. It wants to cover up his crime, and wants to appear before society as one of the most democratic, as one of the most honest, as one of the most sincere person ever to have been produced. That is the situation in West Bengal today.
Okay.
The ruling party, is the biggest thief. The ruling party's leader, Mamata Banerjee, who's shouting loudest today she's shouting loudest and saying that there is a breakdown of democracy in the country under Narendra Modi's rule. She's shouting loudest today, saying that there is a violation of human rights. She is at the forefront of shouting loudest on the protection, on the need for protection of women and of women's right, etc. If you look at her track record in the last 11 years as Chief Minister, and in every election that is being renewed and re-established, latest is the Panchayat election, on all these counts, on democracy, democratic right, human rights, women's safety and security, she has an abysmal track record. Perhaps the worst Chief Minister in India today. And that is why she's shouting, she's so concerned about Manipur.
Okay.
If you are aware, yesterday, 2 days ago, there was an attack on Conrad Sangma,
Exactly.
Meghalaya Chief Minister.
Meghalaya Chief Minister.
He was in Tura. Tura is 300 kilometers away from Shillong. I have lived in the northeast for many years. I don't think any other Bengali of recent times has lived and travelled in northeast as much as I have. I have travelled in northeast more than Mamta Banerjee also. Tura is 300 kilometers away. There has been a demand that Tura must become the winter capital. Shillong is very cold in winter, nearly 2 degree minus, sometimes the temperature goes down. People say that all activity practically used to come to a standstill 20 years ago. Now things are better. They wanted. Fine, it is a demand which people can have. But then suddenly, and I'll tell you, you may be wondering you asked me about West Bengal, why am I telling you about Meghalaya? I will tell you why, you will understand. Their protest was going on. Conrad Sangma, Chief Minister, is inside. He is having deliberation with his officers, with the police, etc. on what can be done, etc. Then suddenly stone pelting starts.
Okay.
Then police personnel, security personnel are injured. And after investigation, it has come out that it was a pre-planned conspiracy. There were 300 people mobbed there. They had a pre-planned, full planning had been made so that bodily harm can be caused to the Chief Minister.
Okay.
And among them, one of the ringleaders of that mob is a TMC leader from Meghalaya.
Okay.
So what are we talking about? It is an inherently anti-democratic party. Otherwise, where do you see there are Panchayat elections, there are municipal elections happening across the country?
Yeah, that's what my question is. Sorry to interrupt here. So, UP is a larger state than West Bengal.
Yes.
Even Maharashtra as well.
Yes.
So why violence has been reported in UP or in Maharashtra rather than the violence has been reported in West Bengal?
If you remember, since you brought up UP, if you remember 2017, last year.
Yeah, 22.
17 was the first election, 22 the second election. 8-phase election took place. I was there on the last phase, on the last day of 2 days before campaigning ended. I was in Varanasi. Madam Mamta Banerjee also came and people showed her black flag. They shouted against her. Bengalis in Benares told her, Ayo, please go back. Poitava, please go back. We don't want you. We are in peace here. Yogi is providing good government. Modi ji is there, and never think that you can replace them. Please go, please go. Bengalis in Benares who have been living for generations, they are saying, you go around Benares, no posters are torn, no galata, nothing is happening anywhere. Campaigning is taking place, normal life is also going ahead. 8-phase election in Uttar Pradesh, not a single bullet, not a single bomb, not a single scuffle took place. How is then West Bengal, how is this happening in West Bengal repeatedly?
Okay.
In this Panchayat election, for example, you started with that, you said yes, the entire country was shocked that West Bengal, which used to be the seat of renaissance, the seat of intellectual awakening, the seat of revolutionaries against colonial British rule, that Bengal, whenever when Panchayat election was announced, nominations, our candidates went to file nomination, and I'm surprised, the Congress is quiet. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary's own people got killed in Murshidabad, and for the last 3 days he's been sharing stage, he's been participating in meetings with Trinamool Congress to try and oust the Narendra Modi government. Congress is silent. The communists are silent in Delhi. Not once Sitaram Yechuri, not once have we heard him condemn the attack on their cadres in West Bengal by TMC.
Okay.
So if you are a BJP cadre, if you are a BJP worker candidate, maximum blows fall on you. So what they did is, when nominations, the day for nomination was declared, nomination was opened, they tried to prevent people from going and nominating opposition party candidates. And the primary target was the BJP.
Okay.
Prevented them. They were abused. Candidates were abused. The women were badly abused. They were threatened. They were locked in their houses. In spite of that, we came out in big numbers and filed nomination. In spite of that. Then on the day between nomination and between withdrawal, this is unprecedented. It has never happened like that. Between the day of nomination and withdrawal, those 4 or 5 days, every day the candidates were terrorized. They were beaten up. If it is a lady, her husband was killed, her husband was beaten up. If it is a lady, she was molested. If it is an old man, his head was broken. They tried all tactics that you go and you withdraw your candidature. Unprecedented. Then came the polling day. On polling day, you have the bombs, you have the guns coming out, terrorization, they are getting in. You must have seen, since you are
Exactly.
so well versed with the entire situation, you must have seen how they entered the polling booths. The polling agents, the officers, in many cases were terrorized absolutely. Ordinary school teachers, they are doing election duty. They have never seen this kind of thing. They are completely terrorized. In other places, the polling agents, the officers there, polling officials were hands in glove with them. They are sitting there, they are going and balloting, because Panchayat election is under ballot.
Okay.
It's to do with ballot paper. They are balloting the papers, the ballots, and then putting them. So, and on the day of counting, because after the elections I went around and met a number of our karyakartas, right, across 6 districts I could cover. On day of counting, you see the panchayats where they realize that they cannot win, because majority of the people voted for the BJP at the grassroots, on the ground, in panchayat election. Majority of people, and people were very angry that their votes have been hijacked. On counting day, for example, the regulation was that the candidate can go in with 2 counting agents or 3 counting agents, not more than that. Our candidates were not even allowed to take in a pen.
Okay.
They were practically nearly strip searched. Their candidates were going in with 40, 50 people with guns.
Okay.
Some of these lady candidates broke down in front of me. They said, "Sir," they said, "Dada, they're showing us guns. They are lifting up their hands like this. And you can see that they have their revolvers, they have their pistols here. What will we do in front of that?" So that day, on counting day, they went and created a mayhem in counting centers. A number of TMC elected MLAs also were allowed to enter.
Okay.
The BDO, the DM, the SDPO, the police officers, the OC, the IC, in most of the cases were in collusion with them. Okay. They looked the other way. So what they could not do on polling day, they achieved on counting day.
Okay.
And I have met women candidates. I mean, Mamata Banerjee is talking about Manipur. Shameless, her MPs are talking about women's safety in Manipur. So shameless they are. Their own party goons, militia, I call them militias, their own party goons on counting day physically molested, badly beat up women candidates. I met women candidates who were, their heads banged to the wall repeatedly. There was a women candidate, she had just undergone a cesarean operation a while back. She was repeatedly kicked in the lower abdomen, and complete mayhem. And the kind of cuts, I met these candidates who were beaten up with hockey sticks and chains.
Okay.
Till the hockey sticks broke, another lot of hockey sticks came to beat them up.
Okay.
So this is the condition, and most of them had head injuries.
Okay.
So you see, what happens is you immediately hit. If you badger them on the head, if you bludgeon them on the head, they become in any case senseless. Exactly. Or they are stunned. And then that is when you loot the ballots, okay. You loot the counting.
Okay. So the prime question is, Anirbanji, why so much violence What is making them to do all this violence?
There is only one answer to this. It is that they have realized that if they don't control the voting process, if they don't control the vote, they are sure to lose. Because people are not with them anymore. You resort to violence on voting day, on polling day. You resort to violence on campaign day only when you understand that you will not win through a free and fair process. In Uttar Pradesh, for that matter, why only Uttar Pradesh? In any state where the BJP is in power, the BJP doesn't resort to violence. Give me one example in a BJP ruled state. 27 years we have been in power in Gujarat. Have we ever once resorted to violence in Gujarat? Not required. For 27 years people have been voting, and this time with triple the mandate, which has never happened in post-independent India's history, in Gujarat, in Madhya Pradesh, in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, you know better, one of the most violent states it used to be known as. It has gone beyond that. So when you know that is only one simple answer. When you know that people are not with you, when you know that you're going to resoundingly lose in a free and fair election, and you want to hold on to power because that is the only way you can survive as a political party.
Okay.
So that is why you resort to this kind of fear.
What is the answer of TMC, Member of Parliament, Member of Legislative Assembly, as well as the party's head to this kind of violence? When you say the violence is happening in West Bengal, what is their answer?
No, you see, their answer is they don't answer. They don't have an answer. What answer will they give? It's just that they are trying to deflect. It has been proved today, as I told you, it has been proved today that the TMC, in Meghalaya, whatever problem is happening, the TMC is behind it. Because you may be aware that in Meghalaya, what they did was they bought over one part of the Congress. And I'm sure and then they didn't do well. In any case, we won. But I'm sure those Congress guys who went over to the TMC in Meghalaya must be regretting. Because they realize that this is a party which has no ideology, which has no structure, which has no aim, and which has no governance record. So similarly, they have no answer. Their only answer is try and deflect, try and talk about Manipur, try and talk about other states. But you'll see that it is a very selective deflection. They will never speak about Rajasthan.
Okay.
They will never speak about Tamil Nadu. They will never speak about states about Chhattisgarh. And Rajasthan, the kind of atrocities that have been happening on women is appalling. But they're all quiet, they're not discussing that. So, this hypocrisy, the same hypocrisy is reflected on the ground in West Bengal. They don't speak. I'll give you one more example. If you have there is this Gaurango Biswas. He stood as a candidate from one Panchayat in Shantipur, which is in Nadia district. It's a very rich historical district. It has a history. And he was badly beaten up. So badly beaten up that he's still, when I went to visit him in the hospital, in the district hospital, he was still not in his conscious. He was not conscious. And even in the hospital, TMC goons are coming and threatening his son.
Okay.
So we went and lodged a complaint with the superintendent of the hospital there, saying the written complaint that this must stop, otherwise we will sit here for dharna. So what I'm saying is that the TMC ministers, the TMC MLAs, MPs, most of the time are complicit in this. You see, this ISF, which is a party led by Naushad Siddiqui, it's a minority dominated party. The kind of violence that they have been facing in their stronghold from a section of the TMC, day in, day out. So anyone who puts up a resistance, it is the TMCs, and some of their MLAs are most violent. Shaukat Mullah and these, they are all part of the Diamond Harbour lobby, which is controlled by Mamta Banerjee's nephew. And it is one of the most violent lobby.
Okay.
So, when you ask me what answer they have no answer. In Delhi, they do a natak. They put up a drama to try and deflect attention. They make a lot of noise and all that. In West Bengal, most of them are involved in this kind of atrocities. Lovely Maitra is a TMC MLA. She's an actress. She's a TMC MLA from Baruipur, which is South 24 Parganas.
Okay.
On counting day,
even violence has been happening, right?
Yes,
I've seen the video as well.
Exactly. On counting day, she was inside the counting station as an MLA. She's not supposed to be there.
Okay.
She entered there with 50 people and they started beating up our candidates. So the MLAs are complicit. The ministers are complicit. You tell me, after 2021, today we are in 2023. Has Mamta Banerjee send even one delegation of her ministers to visit the post-poll violence areas after 2021? She has not. Has she sent a delegation of ministers even this time? That without prejudice, being impartial, visit all places, all candidates, all places where violence has taken place? No. Because they are the perpetrators of violence. The system is in their hand, police is in their hand, district administration is in their hand, DMs are in their hand.
Okay. The entire system is not reacting also.
No. You see, except some of these intellectuals, Aparna Sen and all that, quite an opportunist these people are. The same Aparna Sen had accused the BSF. She has said BSF is a force which rapes women. Yeah. This kind of irresponsible statement she had made. But I think due to some amount of public pressure, they have spoken out. But that speaking out is also not sincere. People understand that all these years you kept quiet and suddenly now you're speaking out because of people's pressure. But good, at least they're speaking out. So, but there is a tremendous amount of anger and angst amongst people.
Okay.
As I saw it. Because you see what happens. In a village, everyone knows everyone. Those in the village who have perpetrated terror and violence, they are also known by face.
Okay.
Because it is after all a village. So, and people are angry because they have voted BJP and their mandate is not reflecting on the ground. That is why they are extremely angry. But they are ordinary people. You threaten them with 4 bombs, then nobody wants to. Obviously, they want to save their lives. I visited one village in Shantipur and I walked up completely to and fro in the village. On the ground, I saw bombs which were still lying undifused.
Okay.
And in front of me, some of these miscreants and goons were standing and, by their look, they were threatening the villagers there because the villagers were protesting and they are our voters. So I sat there on dharna. I said a police picket must be put here, etc. That was done then. But you see, this is the situation on the ground. So there is a lot of anger amongst people. Anger because they see the kind of corruption that is taking place. Anger because their mandate is not reflecting on the ground. And anger also because you must have noticed time to time even the chief minister, her ministers, her nephew, they'll tell the people, oh, we are giving you this monthly. We are giving you that amount monthly. We are giving you these facilities monthly. If you don't vote us to power, who will give you this? Indirectly implying that if you don't vote for us, go to hell.
Okay.
This is the approach.
Okay. Dada, you brought up the opposition as well as the intellectuals as well. I can see thousands of tweets regarding Manipur and the opposition's unity in Manipur. But why none of the opposition, be it Congress, this is a democratic process which has to be happened. Why none of the opposition, be it Congress or be it CPIM or be it any other opposition party, has not raised their voice against Bengal? What is stopping them?
You see, that is the irony, and that is the irony of opportunism, or that is the duties or the dharma of opportunism. If opportunism has a dharma, then this is the dharma. You see, in Bengal, one district, let me tell you about Murshidabad. I went and campaigned there. The 2 Gram Panchayats that I have campaigned, I was very happy to know that we have won also. The BJP won, and we are going to also felicitate the winners because they have displayed a lot of courage. In Murshidabad, repeatedly, CPM and Congress candidates, workers were killed by the TMC. The same, and while the Congress and CPM workers were being killed, Sitaram Yechuri, Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge were sitting together with Mamta Banerjee in Patna and they were discussing the alliance. So the workers are also seeing. This opportunism is very clear and therefore they are quiet.
Okay.
Therefore they are not discussing. Our point is very clear. Yes, if it is a discussion on women's safety, then let us include Rajasthan, let us include West Bengal. You saw West Bengal, how women were paraded naked. I mean, I am so so disgusted, it's so appalling. You remember this incident in West Bengal which took place about a month and a half back, 2 months back, in Balurghat, North Bengal, where three tribal women, ST women, because they expressed a desire for joining the BJP, they were made to do that Dandavat Parikrama in their area by the local TMC leader there. And she is also a lady. A lady making this ST women do the Dandavat Parikrama. Did anyone except the BJP, did any other party or leader express their abhorrence for this kind of behavior? They did not do. So you see, repeatedly in West Bengal, ST women, SC women, women in general have been meted out this kind of treatment. So what we are repeatedly saying, yes, we should discuss. Let us discuss all state. Let us discuss the situation of women in India today, their safety and security. Lot has been done. Lot has been achieved, which is very positive, which the Congress regime could not. And whatever needs to be done, let us discuss.
Okay.
You look at the CPM. In Kerala, they had a national seminar. Comrade Sitaram Yechuri went national seminar on UCC. There, one Muslim woman wanted to raise issues on the UCC, on the discrimination against women. She was not allowed to speak in that seminar. Yesterday itself, the video has surfaced today. Yesterday itself, the Indian Union Muslim League took out a procession in Kerala where they demanded that Hindus be burnt in front of temples. Has Politburo condemned this? Has Mamata Banerjee condemned this? Has the Congress, because it is allied with the Indian Union Muslim League, have they condemned this? Is this not anti-democratic? Is such a call completely against the canons of human rights, of civility? Is it not? Then why are they not condemning? My question is that. So it is selective approach, it is selective amnesia, it is selective condemnation, which is hypocritical, which people are seeing. Same is the case for West Bengal. Has any actor or actress, Mamata Banerjee felicited about 10-15 actors yesterday, day before yesterday. Has any of them raised voice against the atrocities on women that is taking place in West Bengal? No. And she's a woman chief minister.
Even the intellectual society is also not talking about
Yeah, because they are co-opted.
Are they being selective?
Yeah, they are being selective. They are co-opted. You see, now some of them are raising voice because if they don't, they will completely lose their credibility. But those who are raising the voice, for example, Shubha Prasanna, he's a painter, very well-known painter. For the last 10 years, he was together with Mamata Banerjee. Since Panchayat elections, he has been raising his voice. You know, this violence is not acceptable. It is not the tradition of Bengal, etc. Very good. But that same Shubha Prasanna on 21st July, he shares stage with Mamata Banerjee on her Martyrs' Day program. He's seen sitting, talking to her nephew. So all these are also hypocrites because they have survived off the system. The Trinamool system has co-opted them. Their protest is also hypocritical and it is opportunistic. But at least, and they are, and mind you, they are also opening, some of them are opening their mouth because it is becoming an existential question for them. Because if they don't, then they completely lose credibility.
Okay. So, you talk about Manipur as well, Dada. So, I will talk about Manipur later. So, let's go back to the post-poll violence which has happened. You told about the polling day. You told about the counting day. Why after the post-poll or post results, after the results also people are being killed over there.
Yes.
After 2021 elections results came, there has been number of people who have been killed after the polls as well. Why that took place?
See, total 50 people got killed during the Panchayat elections, which is unprecedented. You can vote any party you want to power. You can vote for any party. But at least every individual in this democracy in India has the sacred right of voting, whoever he or she wants. That sacred right itself was snatched away during the Panchayat elections in West Bengal. And post-poll, whatever violence took place, you saw in Panchla, for example, in Howrah district. In Panchla, our candidates' workers, their houses were burnt. in Baripur, in the BJP party office, there were nearly 180 of our workers and candidates who could not go back home after polling day, after counting day, who could not go back home, and they were there. Then post-poll, what they did was they burnt the crops of our candidates. The wells were poisoned. The ponds, fish ponds are very common in West Bengal. The ponds were poisoned. So overnight, all your fishes died. Your hens and all that, they also died. So this kind of economic boycott also. So that if you are doing BJP, you are not entitled to earn your living also.
Okay.
And since you are doing BJP, you must die out of starvation.
Okay.
This is the approach. So post-poll, also that violence continued. It was mainly to do with revenge. You were a BJP candidate, so you are not fit to live in this village. We will ensure that you leave. You must have seen that nearly 150 of our Karyakartas and candidates had gone to Assam. They were given shelter there. Same as happened in 2021. This time the number was a little less, but even in 2018 during the Panchayat elections, a large number of our winning candidates went over to Jharkhand, and they were there.
Okay.
Because they could not live in their villages. Quite some time after that, finally they could come back, and that also because of the court orders, etc. So post-poll, the violence happens because of revenge.
Okay.
And that is also very calculated violence. If you are a small shopkeeper and you do BJP, we'll finish you. If you are a fruit seller also, we will ensure, we'll either physically disable you in such a way that for quite some time you will not be able to go around selling fruits or selling vegetables. Then they terrorize in such a way post-poll that you can't come out of your house. So, this has become ingrained in the TMC's approach. So, violence on polling day, violence post-poll, violence during campaigning, and violence during nomination. This has become a pattern. But what is most amazing is that this chief minister is going around the country speaking about saving democracy. This chief minister and her MPs are going around the country saying that they are the alternative. They can create an alternative to the NDA in the country. Actually, this is the alternative that they are planning. Okay. An alternative of revenge, of blood, of bloodshed, of terror. You must have noticed in West Bengal, if you have been following, only state where every other day bombs are recovered. Bombs in buckets, bombs in bags, bombs in the fields, bombs in ponds, bombs in playing ground.
Where are they getting from?
Because they are being manufactured.
Okay.
They are being locally manufactured.
Is the state not looking after that?
Because it is the state's people who are manufacturing.
State sponsored.
State sponsored. Because if you look at the antecedents of those who are manufacturing these bombs, all of them are linked to the ruling party. No, so you see, if you look at the antecedents of those who are getting caught, or those who are not getting caught but are known to be manufacturing these, they are all linked to the ruling party. Okay. I'll give an example. In Purva Mednipur, there is this place called Egra. It is an assembly segment, and there is a village called Khadikul there. You must have noticed last month, towards the end of May, there was a huge blast in that village suddenly, and that blast was heard 15 kilometers away. Windows and glass panes all shattered, and conservative estimates, they said 9 people died. All of them were women of that village. Most of them were women, including the owner of that factory. What was that factory? Ostensibly, it was a cracker factory on the border with Odisha. Cracker factory, but a lot of illegal gunpowder, a lot of illegal bombs were also being manufactured there and distributed. It was and that the owner of that factory directly linked to the TMC. And those who died were ladies, were women of that village. They were so poor that they were compelled to work as daily laborers in that factory. They themselves did not know exactly what they were doing. They just knew that yes, this is a firecracker factory. So, umpteen such examples in the district of Birbhum, every other day, thousands of kilograms of ammonium nitrate and detonators, fuses are being recovered. You may have noticed. You may remember. I forget the exact name. Just last month, after the Panchayat elections were over, NIA picked up one TMC leader in Birbhum who was running illegal stone quarries, who had a huge illegal quantity of dynamite stored. The NIA picked him up. Large quantity of dynamites, large quantity of detonators, ammonium nitrate stacked. And he was not only a TMC leader, he was an official TMC candidate in the Panchayat election. So you see, these are the kind of people that the TMC is basically has patronized. And they have patronized it for political purpose, not only to terrorize the opposition, but to also terrorize people in general. And what has happened is, last few years, number of children also have died, because what is happening is that children are going to play in the play fields, in the playgrounds in the evening, and then they see some bomb lying there. They don't know. They think it's a ball. If you look at these bombs, they actually look like tennis balls and all that. So they kick, and if they're lucky, they get away with injury, and if they're not lucky, they're completely blown apart. So a number of children also have died this, and the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has taken cognizance of this. The State Commission for Protection of Child Rights, its chairperson and that entire, they are quiet about it. They have not opened their mouth. They have not asked the government to give a white paper. They are all silent.
Are they afraid of Mamata Banerjee?
No, they are not afraid. You see, they are a party to her crimes. Because all of them are political. They are not afraid because they are appointed by her. So by their silence, they are complicit in her crime. They are complicit, they are responsible for so many children either getting injured, maimed or dying because of the illegal arms, illegal bomb factory that runs around, that is functioning in West Bengal.
Dada, I saw an NCRB record. Around 365 political murders has been taking place between 1999 as well as till 2016 as well. So is this the culture of the TMZ, or is this the culture of CPIM which has passed into the TMC?
See, 300 is very less actually. It is much more than
recorded,
that.
reported.
Recorded, reported. It is much. No, it is a culture which the left actually brought in. The left brought it in. Left institutionalized it. You remember in 1993 when there was this 3 women, one of them with UNICEF, they were returning. There's a place called Bantola in south, adjacent to the new town now. They were accosted there, waylaid, and they were brutally raped and killed by TMC cadres. You remember how the TMC, by CPM cadres in 93. You remember how the CPM government in 1979, Jyoti Basu's government ordered fire to the Bengali Hindu refugees, Dalit refugees. Primarily they were all Dalit. They were fired upon and killed in Marijhapi. Nearly 8,000 of them. So this genocidal tendency has been always there in the left political behavior and in their political narrative. But the left, since it has always been, it used to be in control of the academia, it used to be in control of the publishing institutions, publishing network, it used to be in control of the research network, they very suavely hid it. So Marijhapi massacre was not discussed for 40 years till some books started appearing. Now what happened was that the TMC having come to power, having struggled with the left and then come to power, the TMC, a lot of the left's lumpens also shifted to the TMC. And the TMC, since it is not at all an ideological party, since it is not at all a structured party, it doesn't have a system, it doesn't have a structure, it doesn't have an ideology. It is basically a party of interests, which is held together by the persona of Mamata Banerjee for the time being. So it has out-lumpened also the CPM. it has become worse than the CPM. Not to say that some people get nostalgic. Some people get nostalgic of a generation. The CPM was better. The CPM was better because it put up a show.
Okay.
It would never cancel your programs. It would never say venue is not available. It will allow you to do the program, but from below or from inside, then they would try and.
Okay.
So, Mamata Banerjee doesn't have that suaveness, and she has co-opted all the lumpens of the CPM. And not being a disciplined party, they're completely, it is the lumpens who are driving. The CPM kept the lumpens behind so that they could run the system.
Okay.
With their help. What the TMC has done is the TMC has allowed the lumpens to run the system. Because it is a party of interests. They want, each one is allowed to make his or her own collections. There is no ceiling on the collection that you can make. And the collection can be made in any way you want. As long as you are giving sufficient amount to the party coffers. So there is nothing that binds them. Nothing at all. And so I think that is the difference between the TMC and the left.
Okay. Before going into this Manipur issue, so I saw a news, actually, I was searching for the name. So one candidate from TMC was having a Bangladesh identity. I mean, he's a Bangladesh citizen as well, and he is somewhat, I don't know, he's an MLA or some candidate as well. And in all the bordering states, we can see the infiltration, or we can see the Bangladeshi citizens who are living in India as well. I don't say as refugees they can have the Indian citizenship and they can live in India. So what kind of issue is going on over there about the illegal immigrants or illegal Bangladeshi refugees as well? So is this happening for a long time, and is this why the BJP is pushing for the CAA over the state?
You see, this time in Panchayat election, one TMC candidate filed his nomination sitting in Dubai.
Okay.
That is also historic.
Okay.
I think his name must be sent for Guinness Book. That how you are sitting in Dubai and you are filing nomination. The candidate you mentioned, it's a lady candidate in 2021.
Okay.
She has she's a Bangladeshi. She has a Bangladeshi voter ID card also, and she had here, and she stood for the elections.
Okay.
Also. So this is the kind of
did the TMC didn't notice that, or they voluntarily?
They knew because
Okay.
she has her setup, she has some business and all that in Bangladesh also.
Okay.
And at the same time, she was here also. Her name was reflected as a voter, and she stood as a candidate. You see, the main problem is why Mamata Banerjee is repeatedly opposing the BSF's expansion of BSF jurisdiction for 50 kilometers from the border is precisely because of this. A lot of illegal activities that go on along the border are directly done and linked to people who are with the TMC at the ground level. And so naturally, if the BSF becomes active, and you know that across the border, we have all travelled very extensively along the border in West Bengal and also on that side when we visited Bangladesh. But in West Bengal, obviously, you know that these smugglers are always armed.
Okay.
The smugglers who try to infiltrate or who try to go from West Bengal to Bangladesh are always armed. And they attack the BSF very badly.
Okay.
Mamata Banerjee has never condemned that. She has, on the other hand, repeatedly, publicly accused the BSF of being a force which is, which she has called them goons. She has called them thieves. She has accused the BSF of terrorizing the villagers. She has accused the BSF of molesting women there, etc. Continuously, she has been publicly accusing the BSF without an iota of evidence. And in fact, West Bengal border, in a number of villages, the BSF undertakes, as per their protocol, the BSF undertakes a lot of development and seva work.
Okay.
You know, putting up medical camps, health camps, educational camps, then a lot of during any natural calamity or the BSF is always there. So the BSF, like the Indian Army, has these activities which they have been doing regularly. And on the other hand, they have also been cracking down on smugglers
Okay.
in the border area,
Okay.
especially cracking down on smugglers all along the border. And that cracking down has become more intense in the last 2 years. So that is what actually irks the TMC. That is what irks Mamta Banerjee.
Okay.
She has even paraded family members of those smugglers who had attacked and injured the BSF jawans very badly, who when they retaliated, these smugglers were killed. Mamta Banerjee brought the family members of those smugglers and paraded them in a public meeting, saying that they are innocent villagers, their men were killed by BSFs. So you see, this is the kind of language, this is the kind of tension that she is very consciously, she tries to brew amongst people.
Okay.
This same Mamta Banerjee, you would remember in 2016, she had accused the Indian army of staging a coup against her. The army does an annual exercise of measuring the volume of traffic and regulating the traffic on highways, national highways. Because if there is any emergency, how much traffic can move on that highway? What are the choke points or what are the challenges? That an assessment the army does. Similarly, they were doing this assessment in 2016 in Howrah on the national highway, which is near her secretariat. Either she's mentally a little unsound or she's a little sometimes. She suddenly said that they are staging a coup against me. She locked herself up in her secretariat for 33 hours.
Okay.
And that time Manohar Parrikar wrote her a very genuine letter saying that I am genuinely hurt by this kind of allegation that you have made, because the army must be kept above our politics. As politicians, we can make irresponsible statements, but we should not drag in our armed forces.
Make a coup against the state government.
And this is an elected chief minister
Okay.
who is saying this. Now, so that same mentality, she has been speaking against the BSF. She has been speaking against. So what has happened is, when an elected chief minister, who is also the home minister, police minister of the state, when she speaks about central law enforcing agencies like this, it is only the smugglers,
Okay.
it is only the anti-socials, it is only the terrorists who get emboldened.
Okay. Sorry to ask this question. So, what will be the situation if Mamta Banerjee comes to power in Delhi?
She will never come.
Okay.
That is why I am
by
not
accusing
imagining.
all these forces and
No, that is correct. You see, I am surprised, you see, because she was herself a cabinet minister at the center. She was a 7-term member of parliament also. So I think either she is becoming senile or she is doing a lot of this deliberately, so that she can stoke a lot of violence. She can stoke tensions also. She can stoke tensions. For example, during the Ram Navami this year, she openly, brazenly indicated that there is only one community which indulges in riots. And then she told the other community that in the name of Allah, can you not finish them? So if you are telling one community in the name of Allah that there is one community which only indulges in riots, then it is clear whom you are referring to. So one Bengali Hindu chief minister of West Bengal says that all the Hindus are rioters. And she then asks publicly the Muslims in the name of Allah to finish them. This is the gesture she did. Khatam korte parbe na, this is the gesture she did. So you see, very dangerous and so anti and unconstitutional. It is not normal. It shows somewhere that the mind is sick or that it is getting sick. No elected chief minister can speak in this term. So, if she comes to power, then you can only guess what will happen to this country.
Oh.
But it is good. We are saved that with 42 MPs, you can never expect to be Chief Minister of India, Prime Minister of India. Even if all your 42 MPs win, if all the 42 seats, Lok Sabha seats you win from West Bengal, even then you cannot aspire to become Prime Minister of India.
Okay. So, Dada, let's talk about Manipur. What is happening over there? So, the outside, let's say, apart from Northeast India, or let's say apart from West Bengal, the outside India doesn't know what is happening in Bengal. Who are the Meiteis, or who are the Kukis, or who are the Nagas as well. So, the landscape or the land structure or the reservation problem which is going on there. So, tell us in brief about what is happening in Bengal Why so much of
Manipur.
riots? I mean, so tell us in brief about what is happening in Manipur, because so much of things is happening and so much of news is being reported on Manipur as well. What is the actual problem which is going on?
Now you see, this problem in Manipur is not today's problem. It is a problem since 1947, when the Meiteis lost their SC status, ST
Status.
their status, and this has been going on and off. Sometimes during the Congress regime, the worst riots also took place in Manipur. This is a historical issue, and the latest problem happened because of the High Court order that the state has to implement immediately and give them that.
Okay.
And so this the valley is crowded because the valley has less land space, more population. The hills have less population, more land area. So all this in the northeast is very complex. Manipur is a border state. There is an international angle to it also. It has a very sensitive border. You have the Golden Crescent adjacent to Manipur.
Exactly.
So, and this government also has taken very strong steps as far as drug cartels are concerned. It is I think one of the strongest. I think the question we must ask the Congress government is, what have they done in 70 years, 60 years that they were in power in India? What did they do to tackle the drug issue? Why was the drug issue allowed to attain such proportions? What active steps did they take? This government, Prime Minister Modi's government, under Home Minister Amit Shah, the kind of initiative they have taken to completely dismantle the drug network, the drug trafficking network across India, which has affected the global market, is also a factor. So I think, you see, Manipur is very complex, like all states of Northeast. Tribal versus non-tribal, there are various variations within the tribes also. And Manipur, especially being a bordering state, it has various other angles and ramifications also. And naturally what has happened is a number of players have come into it. And there are the issue of the status for the Meiteis is one issue. But there are various other sub-issues behind it. There are various international ramifications also. So I think there is a sustained campaign of disinformation also,
Okay.
which has been undertaken from across the border.
Okay.
Internationally interested groups also. Okay. I mean, why on earth would the European Union discuss Manipur? I mean, the European Union itself is in throes of crisis today, existential crisis. There are a number of Central European countries which are questioning the very raison d'etre of European Union, the European Union structure. They don't want to give up their identity. They don't want to give up their freedom of maneuverability. They don't want to kowtow to the European Union. So you see, there has been a sustained, for example, the European Union that I was discussing. Why on earth are they discussing? The European Union is flooded with migrants. These migrants who are coming are unwilling to integrate in the European civilization. European Union is faced with terrorism. European Union is faced with recession. European Union is faced with violence. European Union is faced with increasing Islamization and threat from a radical Islamization that is taking place. The European Union is faced with challenges from its constituent countries who don't want to subjugate themselves to the European Union bureaucracy, which functions out of Brussels. They should be discussing all that. Most of them don't even know where Manipur is. They should be focusing on their future. Manipur will continue. Manipur is going to exist. India is going to continue. India will exist. Whether the European Union itself will continue and exist for the next 25 years or not, that is something which the European Union must debate. In India, parties like the Congress, like the TMC, like the CPM, and intellectuals like Ramchandra Guha and others, they are actually fanning the fires of instability in Manipur.
Okay.
They are fanning the fires of conflict in Manipur.
Okay.
Because one, they are becoming willing spokesperson of that international campaign of disinformation on Manipur that is taking place. Second is, it's not black and white in Manipur. It is not one community has done and the other community is the victim. Both communities, many more players are there in it who have jumped into the fray.
Okay.
And there have been sufferers on all sides. But these people, the line that they are taking is, especially the Congress, this TMC, the CPM and people like Ramchandra Goa, the line they're taking is they're trying to calumnize one community against the other. It doesn't happen that way. That is not the reality. Second is that you see, all these years, Manipur used to be known during the Congress rule, when Chidambaram was Home Minister, day after day there would be blockades. You couldn't enter Manipur. Dangerous situation there. And in the last 10 years, first time the railways have come. First time there has been no blockade. I remember in 2010 the kind of blockades that used to take place in Manipur. One could not think that it was possible for Manipur to come back to normalcy. So, I think it's a very complex situation and story. And this government has actually taken a number of steps. It has taken a number of steps, and that is why they're saying that let us have a discussion. It can't be the prerogative of the opposition to say we only want the prime ministers to speak. This comes under the Home Ministry. The Home Minister himself visited there. He was there for 4 days. He had an extensive discussion with all sections of people there. He made appeals also. The situation started improving. Then again there was a downslide. Again now the situation has started improving. So the Home Minister is wanting a discussion. He is willing to answer all questions that the parliament, that the opposition wants to ask, but they don't want to ask, because the moment this government starts speaking in parliament, it will say many things which will expose the opposition. What has been the Congress's record of governance in Northeast? I want to ask. Let there be a threadbare discussion on 50 years of Congress governance in Northeast. The Congress was in power maximum time in the Northeast. Let us ask them. Everywhere you put AFSA, and you kept that as a permanent solution. This government has removed AFSA, and it has removed in a very systematic manner. In 2018, when it removed AFSPA from, just before 2000, I think 2015 they removed AFSPA from Tripura. That time there was a communist government in Tripura. Narendra Modi's government did not say that we will not remove AFSA because there is a communist government in Tripura, let it be there. They removed it. Because this government believes that there has to be normalcy, there has to be delivery, accountability, and people of Northeast are equally entitled to a normal life without the encumbrances of extra, legalities and rules and all that. That is what they have been working at. So you forget 9 years of development that has taken place in Northeast. How many times did Manmohan Singh visit Northeast, and how many times has Narendra Modi visited Northeast? How many ministers of UPA 1 and 2 used to visit Northeast, and how many ministers of NDA have visited Northeast in 9 years? If that comparative study is made, it will be clear how many airports have been functional in Northeast. How many railway stations have come into the Northeast. So 9 years of development you choose to deliberately overlook, and you are only harping on Manipur. So I think that hypocrisy is there. Okay. That hypocrisy is very clear.
Okay. What is the way forward?
For West Bengal?
Manipur.
No. Manipur way forward is this, what the government is doing. There is the clear, you see, let me tell you, the Supreme Court, with all due respect, the Honorable Supreme Court said that if you can't handle, we will step in. I wish they had said that about West Bengal also. I wish they had said that about West Bengal to Mamata Banerjee.
This all problems started because of the Manipur High Court order, right?
Yes.
Then?
So, no, they can tell. They can tell if you can't manage violence, then we will step in.
Got it.
About West Bengal, they are not saying that.
Even the Supreme Court is also selective?
Sometimes it appears like that. But it is their judgment, their lordship's judgment. We are all very ordinary mortals. What can we say?
Okay. So, what is the way forward, sir? Because when will the normalcy return, or the normalcy have returned?
See, when will normalcy return? Normalcy is returning. Internet and all that also is functioning. Normalcy is returning. The government agencies are at work. The system is at work also. And the union government is constantly also very proactively at work. Civil society also has to take the initiative. Wherever crackdown is necessary, that is also taking place. So I'm saying, I think it's a question of time, gradually.
Okay. So one last question, Dadaji, actually. So there has been a meeting which has held in Patna and then in Bangalore as well. They have named their alliance as INDIA. So they are claiming that they are the real Indians as well. So what is your take on that? Will the INDIA be a major challenge to the NDA or the BJP in 2024? So what is your take on that?
No, every time they come up with some jamboree like that, with some name like that, and they come up, like you remember in 2019 January, Mamta Banerjee had a huge jamboree in Brigade Parade Ground. What happened? Everyone came there. What happened? Nothing. So I think these are ways to just fool people. These parties have come together to save themselves, to save their family members, their dynasties, and to save their fortune. Nothing else. And it is clearly, and it is good. No, we are saying it is Bharat versus India. Very good. Narendra Modi represents the real Bharat, the real India. Last 10 years, his record is there. He has given a narrative, he has given a roadmap, he has performed, he has delivered, and he has come across as accountable to people. In opposition to him, what is their roadmap? What is it they want to do? They have all ganged up to try and remove one person, one man. And that one man has proved himself for the last 21 years. So I think all this is just, these are parties, opportunistic, dynastic parties, come together. Mamta Banerjee is shameless. She is promoting her nephew, who has a plethora of irregularities. He's completely a spoiled child. The way he comes across, just because he has got everything on the platter, the kind of language he uses, the kind of provocative statements that he gives. He says he will shoot opposition candidates here, opposition workers here. This is the gesture he makes. These are the kind of parties who are coming together, and they want to remove Modi in order to restore democracy in India. What do they think? Modi has just usurped power. Last two terms, the second time more than the first time, he has got the people's mandate and come to power. And those who are lecturing us abroad, they must understand that the people of India understand better what India is than they sitting there. So I think this India and all these are gimmicks. This will really not. And as Prime Minister rightly said, Popular Front of India, Indian Union Muslim League, Indian Mujahideen. So they also have India in their names.
Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Anirban Ganguly Dada,
Thank you
for joining with us and giving us about what is happening in Bengal as well as in Manipur as well. So I hope in future we should do much more podcast like this and
Certainly
to enlighten our people as well. Thank you so much.
Certainly. Rambu Nandri.
Romba Nandri.